Hello and welcome back to Shuffle Junkie, here with Shadowverse. I hope you enjoyed Steamed Hams Week. It was a real blast for all of us here. Shake the box. I particularly enjoyed teaming up with Andrew to mod Shadowverse to make the Steamed Hams deck with that killer Aurora Borealis. Real good card in there. However, I've moved on to... Really, I haven't moved on. I've moved back. Let me explain. The first competitive deck I built in Shadowverse after, making do with the cards I have and having fun and saving up, I eventually had enough vials. Every game has to have its own terms. I had enough vials that I was able to put together 3 copies of Daria, get all the spell boost cards I wanted, and make a really fun Daria tempo deck. Out of nowhere, Daria has returned. And there are a lot of variations on it. I've seen people running Daria with Giant Chimera. I've seen people running Daria with different loadouts of spells. Some people are running them with the Mysterian Founder, new legendary for Runecraft, upping their spell damage. It's fairly versatile. Of course, there's also the more high-rolly variant that has Frozen Mammoth, and that's a really fun one, because that's just a lot of big boys on a board if you manage to pull that off right. I'm not running Mammoth, but I am running Flame Destroyer, because I kind of missed it after not having D-Shift around for a few months, or really just a month. So I wanted some Flame Destroyers, and if you can, discount these enough, a cheap 7/7 is great. We have 3 Chimeras in here, because doing 4 damage to an enemy follower is great for removal. And again, if this costs 0, that's 4 damage, 4/4 body for nothing, so great card for removal and board control. Mutagenic Bolts is sometimes a finisher, sometimes just clearing a board. Excuse me. Oh, this is extra hard. I managed to find out that the human body has a lot of blood in the right index finger knuckle, so now I have only half a hand on my right hand, and it's very frustrating. Anyway, let's talk about the deck for realsies. Daria's the backbone. You just want to get her in your opening hand or as soon as possible and start discounting this as hard as you can and as fast as you can, because the sooner you're able to play Daria and refill your hand and discount all the things in your hand by 5, the more likely you are to win. We're going to talk about these guys. Mutagenic Bolt. Ogler is just here to be a nice, decent-sized body that you could spell boost as a discount really fast. Blade Mage. This could be early to mid-game damage. It could be a finisher. It's really whatever you need to be whenever it shows up. And especially with Daria pulling it, it's just going to cost 1 for a 2/2 Storm, or 4 if you evolve. Speaking of evolve, we're running 3 Piercing Runes, because you want to combo those in with your evolutions. Clark is here to discount everything in her hands 2 times, as long as the creatures. Magic Owl's here to discount all of our creatures. Really, we just have creature spell boost cards, so I'll just say creatures from now on. He's here to discount them all twice if we evolve him. Great pairing with Piercing Rune. Freshman Lou is here to pull something with spell boost, which means it's either going to be Flame Destroyer, Chimera, Daria, Ogler, Blade Mage. Those are the only things you could pull with Lou, which means you're able to make relatively informed plays with Lou. Mysterian Knowledge is here to give us good removal in the form of Mysterian Missile for 3 damage, 1 to face, or Mysterian Circle, which is our only ward, so we have a 50-50 chance of having a blocker when we need one. Mystic Ring is here because if you have 2 Darias in your hand, that's bad. Daria will discard the other Daria, so you want to Mystic Ring the second Daria away. This is here to keep our deck consistent. And then, of course, Insight is a cheap spell to spell boost with, and to draw cards. Same thing with Magic Missile. So, pretty straightforward. Make Daria cheap, play Daria. Daria makes everything else cheap. Keep playing bodies. You got some big ones, you got some medium-sized ones, and you have some small ones with Rush. And by Rush, I mean Storm. Pretty straightforward. And like I said, great customizations. You could swap out different cards for different things. You want spells with spell boost? Put some spells in there. You want to take advantage of Giant Chimera? Go for it. Just know that you can brick more readily with that one. Same thing with Frozen Mammoth. And even this version is prone to the bricking. You gotta be careful with Daria because you might never draw her or you'll draw 3 of her. And both are equally bad. But enough yammering on, let's take a look at the deck. How about Forestcraft? Let's see what they're doing. These days, if you're up against Forest, it's either going to be Neutral Forest, running Beauty and the Beast. Excellent, we have a Daria in our opening hand. Unfortunately, we also have a Chimera and a Piercing Rune, and none of our early spell boosting cards. Kinda scary. Because if they are playing Beauty and the Beast, we are on the clock. We need to win fast. Weirdly enough, they play Fire Sprite Grove and Tweedledum and Tweedledee. Not cards I'm used to seeing in Beauty and the Beast decks. Or aggro decks, even. So I'm not sure what our opponent's playing here. This could just be something they're experimenting with. I know I'm not the only one that loves going onto ladder with weird ideas. Regardless, I'm not going to look a gift opponent in the mouth here. We're just going to go ahead and draw and spell boost as quickly as we can. Because next turn, I will be able to play Chimera as a removal, and I will evolve it and use it as removal again. And we already know what he's going to target. It's that big boy right there. And that evolution, of course, will help us out because Piercing Rune will get discounted. I changed my mind. No, never mind. We did go with the Chimera. Too good to pass up. But this was the more efficient way to spell boost and make maximum use of my play points. So I tend to get really greedy when I play Daria decks, and that's always my downfall. My problem is I'm looking at this hand right now, and I don't want to play Daria until I've emptied out as much of this as I can. Man, blink and you miss it. Out of nowhere, they have a 5/6 with Storm. Well, it looks like we figured out what kind of deck our opponent playing. It is, in fact, a weird aggro deck. It's just not a version I've seen before. Thankfully, we have produced a great deal of removal. Go ahead and put a little damage on the board. More Storm. Brutal. Go ahead and create a ward. We're gonna ditch both our mutagenic bolts because at 5 health we can't play it anyway. But thankfully we find ourselves in a very nice situation where we could spell boost a Flame Destroyer 5 times, and then 2 times, and then 2 more times. I guess I want to save Clark. Cheap enough 7/7, that's for sure. Wow, that Ivy Spellbomb. Cute, but not enough to save you. And it's over. But what about Swordcraft? It's so weird holding the mouse like this. I really regret slicing my finger open. Alright. So I ditched the Ogler just because I wanted to try and get some more spell boosting for the Daria. I'd rather play Daria on turn 5, turn 6, draw into my Oglers, and just play them for free. Especially again, when we're up against Swordcraft. we don't have to worry about a board clear all that much. It's not a class known for its board clears, and even the ones they do have, they tend not to run, because they require you to pair it up with another card, like, I believe it's called, Blade Storm. I can't remember. No one ever plays it, so it's hard to remember that one. But basically, you use a card and perform its attack on everything on the board, and since you have to pair it up, it's unreliable. It's not a consistent card. Boy, you look away for 1 second, and Daria's already down to 4. But we could do better. We do have a Magic Owl, we get to evolve next turn, which will bring our Daria down to 2, our Flame Destroyer down to 3, and discount our Piercing Rune down to 2. Look at this. You're like, oh, it's so scary. It's not, though. Not when we have this hand. We can calmly remove so much. We'll go ahead and trade with that, keeping our guy alive. Trade there. A nice cheap Piercing Rune. And look at what next turn's gonna bring us. We're probably not gonna play the Freshman. We're just gonna Flame Destroyer or Daria. They are determined to have one of these goddamn hedgehogs on the board. They are very aggressive, that's true. Alright, we're gonna also lose a Chimera, which is sad, but we gotta. This is too much value to pass up. Oh, into a Daria, and a Flame Destroyer, and a Magic Owl. With a Chimera! I have no complaints about that draw. Oh boy. So we already have a Daria down to 1. We already have a Flame Destroyer down to 2. We have a Chimera we could play. And we're starting to force them to play defensively, I would think, but then he goes face. I guess he's hoping to rush us down. I got bad news for him, though. So I was forced to go with the Chimera just to keep us safe. We have to worry about our health, but now they have to worry about their health. King Arthur, I don't think is going to save you. Now he's going for the Perseus value here. It does get that extra attack and ward. Ah, you didn't go for the trade. He really should have gone for the trade. We're gonna lose a Blade Mage, a Piercing Rune, and a Mystic Ring. That's fine. I'd much rather get what we have here. A Mutagenic Bolt as a good potential board clear. A free Blade Mage. Mysterian Missile is great. Because it lets us win. Bam. Game over. I mean, that's the idea. You want to present a board that's overwhelming. Let's end with not quite a mirror match. We are both playing Daria heroes. They're not actually playing a Daria deck, though. This is Daria against Dirt. The ultimate rune grudge match. And now you can see, when I have Daria in hand and I'm lucky enough to have Mystic Ring, that's why I hold on to it. Because we immediately drew into a second Daria. And now, at our leisure, we may use that Mystic Ring to get rid of the second Daria. But because it is a spell, excuse me, I do want to use it while being able to spell boost a few things. So we played our Lu first. And we draw into an Ogler. Go ahead and give ourselves a ward. We'll Mystic Ring our Daria away. We hope we draw into something good. We do. Mysterian Knowledge. Great card. I really do want to put together just a Mysterian deck. Just all cards that are Mysterian. Get the new the new legendary in there, go for spell damage, make it a burn deck. I don't know if it's going to be viable at all, but I'm going to go for it. And it'll be a spell booster deck too. We know that Ogler is Mysteria, we know Lou is Mysteria. I wish Daria was Mysteria, but she's not. I don't know if it'll be a good deck, but I want to try it. Oh, and I know I said I was going to do the mill deck next, but I had all of these quests that were for Runecraft, and yeah, that's it. That's my excuse. I just wanted to do my quests. But we will be doing these terrible mill decks. We'll do those next, I promise. Although, again, I can't stress enough, not very good decks. Maybe one day, though. I'm happy the possibility exists, and I hope more cards will support it in the future. Oh, I wanted to get rid of that 6/6 because that's a big source of damage early in the game that you don't really want to deal with. So if you can get rid of it, you know, you get rid of it. Alright, we got Daria down to 2. We got a nice cheap Piercing Rune here. However, Piercing Rune won't kill Master Mage Levi. Just spell boosting Daria would have been pointless, so turn it into a rat. Ooh. Look at that. The worst. Just the worst. Man, I've never seen someone run so many Fall from Graces. And not the best target. I mean, Daria is not a terrible target, but those 7/7s that are going to show up later, probably the one you want to target. Well, a Magic Owl won't be spell boosting anything, but I really just need the discount on the Piercing Runes. And we'll leave this on the board. We'll take advantage of our Piercing Runes. Perhaps a better play would have been Magic Missile, Suicide, and then possibly draw into something in Spell Boost twice. Wow, 2 Nova Flares. That's a dumb way to get rid of 1/4/4. I guess they have no other options in hand? There she is. We finally draw to a Daria. We play the Freshman, so our Clark can get maximum value. It's a Flame Destroyer. But at 10 play points, which we will be at next turn, because we'll be on turn 10, we get to choose, alright, let's put a Flame Destroyer down just as a threat. And then next turn, Daria. Another Abomination. And it looks like they're going to... Well, they can't. They can't concentrate their way up to 9 cards, so they're just going to evolve it. Oh, never mind. Chimera. Perfect. See? When you have them in your opening hand, you're like, ah, this is terrible. But they're great late-game draws. That's why you want them in this deck. They work for any time. Any time of card game. Alright, let's get a Flame Destroyer out there. It's something they kind of have to address. And they do with a Mutagenic Bolt. Alright, it's clearly Daria time. We're down to 10 cards. And lucky for us, we do draw into a Flame Destroyer. Mysterian Knowledge. If we get the missile, we do get the missile. We're in good shape. We're able to get rid of that guy. And our Flame Rat Burden. And we could do a little bit of face damage. And we have this Flame Destroyer as a great surprise for next turn. Especially after they do that. That was their second Mutagenic Bolt. I doubt they have a third in hand, or even in their deck, to be honest. Most people don't run 3. we're going to head Insight. We draw into a Blade Mage. Send the Owl away, he's not really needed. Into an Ogler. We'll go ahead and push some damage and put a big-ass threat on the board. Ooh, that's very scary. But they only have 2 play points left, so they can only play 1 Veridic Ritual. Which wouldn't be enough to kill us. So they think they're safe behind this 6/6. Trick is, Blade Mage means you're never really safe. Well, alright, that was, as I lovingly call it, Daria time. And I love this deck. I love how many variations you could put together of this deck. Really, as long as you have 3 Darias, you could build all different kinds of decks around the concept of spell boosting and drawing 5 cards and spell boosting those 5 times. It doesn't need to be Clark, this could be Craig, or it could be that guy who I forget, who if you have cards that aren't spell boosted 5 times, he spell boosts them until they've all been spell boosted 5 times. You can have Giant Chimera in there. You can really make it your own deck. This happens to be mine, and you know what? If you like it, look at that description, you're going to find that deck code, and you could play it too. It could be your Daria time, not just mine. I'm willing to share my Daria time. Is this the best Daria deck? Almost certainly not. But it's pretty good, and if you can make it better, let me know in the comments. What would you swap out? What would you swap in? How would you make this the best Daria deck it could be? As I slap my microphone, thankfully with my left hand and not with my injured right hand. Anyway, I don't want to keep you all day. Hope you had fun. If you liked what you saw, subscribe, like the video, come on back for more. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.